Yo guys, what's up? Another Rush video. I pre-recorded this one. I didn't really feel like streaming it. Last time the internet was pretty bad while streaming it. Also didn't have that much motivation to stream it, to be honest. In the end, actually became quite a bit a better Rush than I expected. I really last moment started like reruning just a few units. I didn't rerun like the main team. I started using the Quad Lucian team. So also, I didn't rerun like all of my AD, so I just used something that I thought like, okay, maybe this works instead of like what I normally do. So I removed the Juno from my old team to a Savannah in this case. Might switch it to other things later, but Savannah worked pretty well, as you can see throughout the video. Not that many people hitting me, so that was good. I heard from other people it was a pretty active rush, but it didn't feel that much of an active rush for me. Funny thing is, I started at like 17, like 60. I started like super low. Like I think rank 1 at that time was like 2100 or something. So I was pretty much like 330, 340 points like above, like below rank 1. So I had a lot of like catching up to do. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna do like the same as last time, just story time, just like catch into like the rush whenever it fits. Besides that, I'm just gonna go for like story time again. Like a few of you guys like appreciated it last time, so yeah, different topics, lots of stories, lots of stories. Also for this channel, I think I don't say it enough that people should actually like follow, subscribe, comment, and all of that kind of stuff. It just helps like the growth of the channel, but it also helps me to get more motivated for making more videos, because I actually have a whole bunch of more videos coming up that I could make, but I just like I like I could do that tomorrow, and then you know what happens tomorrow is like. Tomorrow is another day, so I'm just like, I could be uploading. I think for the next 2 weeks, I could be uploading like daily, and I think that by that time I'm like out of ideas and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's just postponing. I got the postponing habit. It's real bad. So yeah, for this rush, I started using a lot of the Alicia Pisama team. That one was working out pretty well. Did a lot of bombing later. So it's nothing like you haven't seen yet. It's just my defense was working pretty well, and I was focusing targets on a different way than I do normally. So what I really did in this whole rush is I focused really on the bottom few to hit like the bottom few. So my idea behind that was, okay, I can hit like someone that's higher on my list, and it's probably easier and faster to hit for a +5, or I can actually drag someone down plus hit them for like +12 or +13, and then go for like a slower hit. So I actually applied that idea, and I did that throughout the whole rush, and that worked out pretty well. So yeah, mostly just looking for like the lowest on the list, which were like the highest rank. Well, if you're around this rank, like it doesn't change that much for like how many points people have and that kind of stuff. So yeah, you see me do that like more later on. Here I was kind of like hesitating, being slow and that kind of stuff. Thinking like you can Lucian stuff when you can't Lucian stuff, which is also pretty funny. Happened to me a few more times, almost wasted on that one. Like legit, I normally Lucian one guy, and then I was like, I can Lucian this, but don't have my double Lucian. I only have my high damage Lucian, and then it's like, yeah. And the thing is with artifacts, like if you have a high tanky team, and you just stack like a lot of wind artifacts, you're making it the Lucian people real difficult. Like legit, you make it real difficult. So that's where like, okay, never mind, this ain't gonna work. Also, not too sure like how happy like or like how good I think the water Ryu is. I think he's still not that great, to be honest. But yeah. So story time. This time story time. I was thinking about like a topic for story time, and I felt like gaming history. So I think everyone is like gaming here like a lot, of course. Like all of you guys are like playing like multiple games. You came from like way other games than Summoners War and stuff. Oh, I gotta fast forward one bit because I'm touching my Gianna. Huh? So yeah, different games I came from. So I actually started Summoners War. I'm close to like 2000. I'm close to like 2000 days ago that I started my account, which is pretty long time. It's like the longest I've played like any game in general. Most of the time I switch a game with Not even like that. I have like a time limit, but most games at some point they just feel like meh when you play it for like too long. Like everyone knows that feeling, right? So, but Summoners War for some reason it stick to me for the longest time. But also the funny thing is like a lot of people heard this story before. Some of my newer viewers probably not. But how I started with Summoners War, like I always played games. I always try to aim for like anything like high ranked, any leaderboards, anything like that. For me was I have a leaderboard addiction. I'm pretty sure it's you can call it that way. I legit have a leaderboard addiction. The moment I see my name go up in the leaderboard, I get happy, and that's stupid. Whatever, right? So that's what I do a lot. So every game I played, I just try to be like a leaderboard, anything like that. So it was always like that's my fun. That keeps me competitive. That keeps the game fun for me. Like if you have any game that doesn't have like any leaderboards or any PvP or anything at all, like I played some games that didn't have PvP, but you still had like a leaderboards of like how much people were like leveling and that kind of stuff. Like for example, MapleStory, played a lot of MapleStory back in the days. So the moment I came to Summoners War, I was like, I can't really play games that's much anymore because I was traveling a lot, which I talked about in the last one, in the last story time. So I was traveling a lot, and then I was like, okay, I want to find something that I can do while being abroad. So, or just traveling or just anything, because I was going for like my trips like Romania. Like I think I started at that time, like I just came back from Romania and I was planning to go to China afterwards. And in Romania already it started with like a phone game, which was one of Final Fantasy, which was also my favorite game genre like of all times, pretty much still. So, and then I played Summoner's War before. Like I think I played Summoner's War really close to release because I played like a game from Countess, which was like a single player game. I have no clue what the name was. I think in Somi or something. I don't know, but it wasn't like an RPG single player. It was pretty fun. I played that when I was like in the trip to America, like I think 2012. Um, but then I also played Summoners War for a little bit when it just came out, and I didn't read about it. I just played. I didn't understand anything about the game, so I was just playing. And then at some point, I was doing like arena like this, and it's like, okay, why are all these people having like units that are way higher level than me? Because all my units were level 25 at some point. I'm like, how do I get 20? How are people like 30, 35 with their units? How do people have like big ass dragons with wings and shit? I'm like, yeah, I have a weird ass archer, and that's as good as it gets. But the mystical archer I had Adele. So Ardella? I think it's Ardella. Yeah. So at some point like, oh, you can power them up. Ah, so you power them up and then you feed like other 3 stars. Ah, okay, makes sense. So I fed my whole team that I was using of like I had like 4 like 3 stars max level, and I fed my whole team into the best one, and then I was like, oh. So I had a 4-star level 1 Ardella, and I wasted my whole team, and I was like, this game is stupid. This game does not make sense. This game is stupid. I'm not getting anything. This game is stupid. Also, I didn't get like any like 4-star or anything yet at that point, so I was like, okay, trash game, never mind. So I think that was close to beta. So afterwards, when I started playing the Final Fantasy game, I was looking for a game that had more like autoplay, because that game had barely like any autoplay. You actually had to manual all the time. And then I was like, okay, it's sidetracking on the story, but it's funny information. So I had a really old bet with a friend of mine that if you have a Facebook account, and if you have a Facebook account with a cute picture of a girl, you can get the maximum amount of friends on Facebook. It is possible. You don't have to post anything. You just have a cute picture. And my friend was like, nah, no way, bullshit. Like you're talking about actual people. People are not that stupid. I'm like, well, trust me, I'm pretty sure I can get maximum amount of friends by just adding random people. He's like, nah, not possible. It's like, okay, we made a bet on that just for like bottle drinks. So bottle drink. And so I made a Facebook profile as the programmer that I am. Oh yeah, this is one of those like I think I can Lucian it. I couldn't Lucian it. So I made a Facebook profile. searched just like wall base, like you had like a lot of wallpapers on that kind of stuff. I pretty much I typed like a cute girl, like whatever. I made a Facebook profile of that, and then I just like you have the suggested people to make your friends and that kind of stuff. So I made an automated script to go there, invite like a lot of people, then click on one of the people randomly, go to his friend list, invite the first 10, go to one of those 10, invite the first 10, and just like repeat, repeat, repeat. So just to get the idea of like adding as many people as possible, just to just keep on stacking like friends on Facebook. It was like, just made something real quick. Was super easy. Was just JavaScript based. Like I didn't even use the mouse pretty much. It's just like JavaScript, like clicking through the browser and that kind of stuff, clicking on buttons. It's pretty easy to make, but at some point you get reported because when you add someone on Facebook, they had the message of like, oh, I don't know this person. Do you want to not accept because of that? Blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. So at some point, I think I had like 150 friends on that account, and then I got like banned for adding more friends for like a week. I was like, ah, whatever. So after a week, I tried that again, and at that time, you also have more people that are you add like a lot of people, so you also get high on the list that people are suggesting you as a friend and that kind of stuff. Super weird, but whatever. It's just for Facebook. I think Instagram, all of these websites, they do the same thing. So um, yeah, then I like let the script run again until I was banned again. So that took about like half a day, and it was like banned from like adding more people again. And I had about like 400-500 friends. But why did I started noticing is that it started popping up a lot with other people as suggested friend. Like I was their suggested friend, and then they saw a cute picture and they were like, ah, suggested friend. Probably I know this person. Or something like that. I have no clue. So I started getting massive and massive like like friend requests from like all kinds of random people. So then I made a script to accept all friend requests, and that kept going on for like I think a week or two more, and then it started going like really fast. So I think within like a month and a half, just like checking the account like once a week for like few hours, just letting the script run and that kind of stuff. I had 5,000 friends on Facebook. So what did I do with that account? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Until I was like, oh yeah, I just won the bet. I just got a bottle of vodka. That was it. So yeah. So at some point I was like, okay, you always have these things that you can invite people for Candy Crush and those kind of games, right? So I was like, this game, this one game was pretty fun. You had like this arena stuff. Summoner's War was called, I guess, something like that. I don't really remember. Yeah, let's check it out. Ah, looks fun. Ah, you have like a friend referral thing. So if you invite people as friends, you get some scrolls and that kind of stuff. Ah, sounds good. Sounds good. So I was like, ah, might as well give it a try. So I downloaded it again, started playing it again. I did the friend referral, like I actually made that account based on like the Facebook, like that other Facebook account. Super funny, but that's also for that reason I had the picture of that girl for like I think the first year and a half to 2 years that I played. I had that picture of that girl as my profile picture, which is pretty funny. Um, but then I did the referral thing. I got zero. I got zero of the referral. Like, no one accepted anything, or the thing just didn't work, or I have no clue what happened. But I got zero on that thing. So, but then I started reading more on Reddit. Then I started reading more on like started watching more YouTube back in the days, like YEC Beach, Reddit Puzzle, Claytano back in the day, like all of those guys that like good content or some content. At least you learn like all of the units because they play with it and like guild wars and that kind of stuff. So I started reading a lot. I started playing like really efficient with. I didn't get a net 5 for the longest time, so I started like fusing Beretta and that kind of stuff, doing TOA normal, like slowly like manually TOA normal back in the days. Then transitioning to TOA hard, I was like manually like TOA hard for like 10 minutes per stage, and I slowly climbing that thing through, and that kind of stuff took ages. Legit took ages, but yeah, that was kind of end game content at that time. So yeah, and from there on, I kept on playing. So that's how I started playing Summoners War, which is like really the most random thing ever, actually. So in the end, yeah, super fun game. Kept playing it super long time. Still the longest game I play since today. And I think there's not gonna be any game that I'll probably play long. Well, never say never, but oh yeah. Also, what you just saw here, I just hit Brentis, and I know he was he's mostly high up, so he was actually pretty high up. So I was like, if I focus him, I drag him down for like -12, -13. So, and I push myself up for like +13, +12, that kind of stuff. So I was like, yeah, that seems like something that's worth it to just keep on doing, keep on doing. My Dover was doing like some good damage. And yeah, I was like, well, I just bombed the whole thing. I just kept on bombing. And actually, most of the AOs are just bombed. And it's actually pretty slow, you would think. But if you're just hitting like the highest people on your list and the point gap is that big of a difference, you keep stealing like +11s, +12s, and that kind of stuff. So it's actually kind of worth it. Wherever I could Lucian, I still Lucian. So yeah, that's the story of me starting to play Summoners War. And then for the people, I think this story is pretty known. Like Gianna was my first net 5. But it was not TOA, or like it was not like Fame on Scroll or anything. No, it was TOA Hell 90. So I was clearing TOA Hell for like I think like 5 months already, and I got Gianna like after 9 months. So at this point I'm already G3. I didn't get hit like much at all, and the few hits that I got were actually successes. And for some reason I saw Brent this like on my list like a lot, so I was like, hey, I can clear this. I don't care. Like, as long as the bombs like kinda land, but even if the bombs don't land that well, it's still pretty easy to hit him. Because just Sierra Gianna barely dies. Like legit Sierra Gianna, you don't even need the other 2 units, you can probably still kill it. It's just gonna take a long time. But yeah, you saw 61k. 61k from Dover bomb plus Sierra bombs. It's a lot of damage. So most of the time I didn't clear it like any clean sweep or anything, but still it was for me fast enough, and it was a lot of points, and I was stealing his points. Then I was like, okay, this is worth it. This is worth it. We keep doing this. We keep doing this. I have no clue how many times I actually hit him, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's close to 10. Close to 10, maybe even more. So yeah, as you can see, +13, he goes -13. I'm liking it, I don't mind. Sometimes struggling a bit like to find. Oh yeah, here I was like, this team, this guy is high. We have to kill it again. Oh no, wait, did I hit him there? No, I didn't hit him there yet. But it's the super easy team with the Lucifer. I've been hitting that with a Megan like all the time. But I kind of forgot that. What's that? Just got a message on my phone, but it doesn't matter. I kind of forgot that I didn't have Megan ruined up, and I didn't want to ruin up Megan for a while. So in this case, it was like, gotta ruin up the Megan again. Gotta ruin up the Megan again. It's just highly powerful to kill that thing. And this is so easy. The second skill is multi-hit. So Kabila, but also Bastet, second skill multi-hit. Miho's super easy to kill. Yeah, that's the big difference. Now you see if I hit someone like on the top of my list, how many points that is compared to like if I hit Brantis. So Brantis was like +13. And if I hit Nagim here, which is in this case a pretty easy hit, that's a lot of damage actually. Like 16.2 Ks on just speed lead, and this team is just 3 sets of fight. That's actually so much damage. But the thing is, if people have wind artifacts, doesn't matter how much damage you do, it's gonna be an issue to actually kill something. So this is +7 points. It's a bit more. It's a bit more than I thought, but still not that much. So Seiishizo was also climbing pretty high. Yeah, this was actually a funny team. At some point I noticed like a few people there's a few people that didn't have any will runes. So if they don't have any will runes, there's no reason for me to bring Gianna in there. So in this case I was already like, don't need Gianna for next time. So I just bring both Bastet and Ganymede. I could actually, I should rune up 2 bombers that are faster than Sierra, because currently I just have 1 bomber that's faster than Sierra. Okay, I had to pick up some food for a second, so back again. So I have no clue what I was just talking about, so I'm just gonna start the next topic, I think. So back to story time. Still got quite some time on the rush. This is all just like me just chilling, me just bombing. I was bombing most of the time. Actually, the thing is, Blibli would technically be the strongest bomber, but Dover S3 is actually a really strong skill, so I'm not sure which one of the two would be better. I guess I'll find out at some point. But if things just die from a bomb, it's better. But I think if things get resisted, Dover might be better than a Libli. But either way. So yeah, just keep ticking like +12s and that kind of stuff. So that's always nice. And I noticed I could do like 2 bomber AOs, and then the list would just be about like refreshed. So that was a decent pace I could keep up with. I did notice that like Geldnir is OP. Geldnir is OP, man. Like Geldnir is legit really strong. Like this team was actually really good. The main thing was I couldn't kill anything like straight off the bat. I mostly could kill like just 1 because the units were too tanky. And because I was just able to kill 1, Geldnir just full healed everything else. So afterwards, like I was still able to like bruiser and win. But Geldnir is strong, man. Geldnir is a good unit. Like it's not really, I wouldn't say it's really good for arena defense or no, wait. I wouldn't say it's really good for Guild War defense, where it actually has the Guild War lead. But I've seen some teams with Commune and Vigor that might work, but I'm not sure how good that actually is because it doesn't have that much damage. But Geldnir heals for a lot. It's crazy because healing from max HP and then you have units with like 50k HP next to it, that's a lot of heals. That's legit a lot of heals. Like, not gonna lie, so that works out pretty well. But in the end, bombs still succeed. So yeah, I didn't get that many hits. Still not that many hits. So I was pretty surprised about that. Not too many hits. So talking about gaming history. So when did I start? Like when did I start gaming? I think I started playing games when I was like, I think 5 or 6. That I can remember that I started playing games. I think 5 or 6. And I think one of the first games I played was, we had like an old MS-DOS PC. That's like really boomer stuff right there. MS-DOS PC. And you had like a few games on it, like Aladdin, Pitfall, what else? I think mostly those kind of games. Like sure, you also had like Tetris and that kind of stuff. I think pretty soon after we got like the old Game Boy, like the really big one, the white Game Boy. So there was like Super Mario and that kind of stuff on it, of course. Zelda games. I'm still surprised why they call it Zelda and not Link, but whatever. Oh man, struggles in life. So yeah, that's, and then at some point Pokemon came, so of course really big Pokemon fan. I played like pretty much all the Pokemons up until Sapphire, Emerald, and the generations afterwards I didn't play that much. But at that time I was already like way further, so it was Pokemon. I think I played Pokemon Blue, yeah. Pokemon Blue, and I grinded, even there, I grinded the shit out of it, man. I had so many Pokemons level 100, like it was crazy. I grinded the shit out of fucking Pokemon. Like, the moment I started playing RPGs, which Pokemon kind of was one of the first, I just started grinding the shit out of it. And then at some point, my brother got Final Fantasy VIII for his birthday, which was a game we totally did not understand, like not by the slightest clue. I have no clue. At some point we finished the game. I have no clue how we finished the game. I do remember that at some point we were stuck like at the first city. You have some gates you can walk through, and you have one gate like for entry and one gate for exit, and the other way around the gates don't work. We were stuck there for like a whole summer vacation. Like we kept playing the game, we kept grinding and that kind of stuff. but we were stuck there because we didn't know you could walk through the gate. Like we barely spoke any English. We had no clue about the game. I think I was like 9 or 10 or something. So yeah, that was funny. At some point, we actually did manage to finish the game, and Final Fantasy, like, still, it was one of the best games that I played. Like Final Fantasy, the game I played most single player hours on, is I think gonna be forever Final Fantasy X. Like I don't see any game ever beating that. I like Final Fantasy X. I had one save game that had everything. For the people that know Final Fantasy X, like you had the Aeons and that kind of stuff, like the standard stuff, and then you could go for like the celestial weapons or the special weapons and that kind of stuff. I had everything. I had the whole sphere board, like all the levels. I had everything unlocked. I had even everyone had ribbon, which was the thing that was like the most impossible grind to get pretty much. Had all of that. I killed all of the Dark Aeons. I killed Panis, which was like the final boss after the Dark Aeons and that kind of stuff. I got the Blitzball team that was max leveled and that kind of stuff. Man, I had one save game at some point. I wasn't playing the game anymore, and I was like, you have this mini game which is pretty much like underwater volleyball or something. It was super cool, and it sounds kind of weird, underwater volleyball, but yeah, that's I think that's the best, like the best way to explain it. But yeah, at some point I wasn't playing the game anymore. I was like, but the mini game was pretty fun. So I had one save game that I think I just played like 60 hours of that mini game. Like legit. I play like non-stop, like just the mini game, just playing matches and that kind of stuff, just playing that for like the sake of playing like that as a sports game, I guess, which was really weird because it was just like a side mini game within the game itself. Um so and I think that save game eventually ended up in the save game where I like pretty much cleared like all content of the game, because it was really like that mini game gave you a lot of items to just like, it would save like a lot of grind like later and that kind of stuff. So I did that. Um, that was like from like I started playing like first I had the Game Boys, like Game Boy, like the first Game Boy, Game Boy Advance. No, wait, Game Boy Advance I never had. No, Game Boy Color. Then we switched to Nintendo 64 pretty much. Played a lot of Nintendo 64. Then we got the PS2. PS2 we had like Final Fantasy on and that kind of stuff. And even before that, I already started like downloading games from the Super Nintendo. I think I was like 8 or 9, and I already like figured out how to download games for Super Nintendo. Like this old internet, like the real boomer thing when you start the internet is like, Mom, get off the phone, I want to use the internet, and your internet goes like, I studied IT for the last 8-9 years. I have still no clue. I never looked it up actually. Why did that thing had to make that retarded sound? I have no freaking clue. But it was amazing. So you went on the internet, and the only thing I started doing was like I started like downloading like Dragon Ball Z games, Pokemon games, and then at some point, okay, Super Nintendo, name any RPG on the Super Nintendo. And I probably played it, and I probably finished it. I'm not joking. The Super Nintendo, like any RPG, all JRPGs, everything that I finished games that were legit fully in Japanese. I had no clue, man. There were like a few websites with some guides, and I just started printing whole guides and that kind of stuff. But I finished games that were like fully Japanese. I didn't speak a word of like any language pretty much. Well, I could speak English. Like I understood some English, but at that time, but man, there was a hilarious time. Like like if I watched it like right now, I would be like, I have no clue what to do in this game. And like back then, I was just super persistent. It's like, this game is fun. I'll just keep grinding. I'll just like I talk to any NPC in the whole game to get to the next step. And then at the next step, if I have to talk to any NPC in the whole game again, I don't care. I will do that. So that's the kind of stuff what I do. So some memorable like games from the Super Nintendo is of course Secret of Mana was super good. So you had Secret of Mana, and then you had like the Seiken Densetsu, which is kind of like Secret of Mana 2. But Seiken Densetsu was one of the best games for the Super Nintendo. Of course, Final Fantasy 3 was insanely good. It was 3 in the US version, but it was actually technically it was Final Fantasy 6. That one was insanely good, and Chrono Trigger. I would say if people want to like replay like any Super Nintendo like old game, I would recommend people to play either Seiken Densetsu, which is also Secret of Mana 2, I think, or Chrono Trigger. Those games were like, even for the standard right now, like the story they had, the combat system they had for like back then, like the creativeness of like teaming up attacks and that kind of stuff, it was good. It was really good. Like, it was not just good for its time, it's still good right now. Sure, it has shitty graphics right now, but it was legit. Like, it had some cool stories. It had like time traveling and that kind of stuff, like to a high degree. Like, you do something in this time, it changes in that time, butterfly effect, all that kind of good stuff. That was cool, man. That was like hella cool. So, and afterwards I started playing, like, I downloaded a lot of like Game Boy Advance games still. Also, like most RPGs on that one, I played like legit a lot of RPGs on that one. The ones that I really like, also for the ones that I really like from the Super Nintendo, was Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem was like difficult, man. These first, like, if people are playing like Fire Emblem right now, you keep characters when they die. It's like, no, no, in Fire Emblem you go hardcore. Your character dies, characters out of the game. You gotta go back to your save mode. You gotta restart the whole level because your character died. And why? Because you had like one healer or one mage stepping one step too far, and there was some kind of asshole archer, and he just crit your unit one time, and you can reset your fucking mission, or otherwise you're not playing without that healer for the rest of your game. And that was hardcore, man. That shit was legit. So I love like the old Fire Emblem, and then like the first few that you had on the Super Nintendo were so impossible, man. Like, put it in the comments if anyone ever played that Fire Emblem, where you had the one mission that all of your, I think it was the second Fire Emblem that was on the Super Nintendo, and you had this one mission where all of your items gets dropped, like gets like stolen, and they put them in boxes and that kind of stuff. And then you have to walk around, like, recollect your characters, recollect your items, but you're also like pressured by actually like enemies that have weapons and that can kill you like pretty fast. And you also have to kind of like escape with like some NPCs that you get like bonus points for if you like escape with them. And all of the units that escape before your leader guy, they will be taken on to like the next of the like the following of the game. Anyone that you don't like leave, so you have to leave in correct order, and then you bring those on to the next level. And the next level you start in the dark, and that level is insanely difficult, and I never passed that level. Pretty much. Well, afterwards I started playing it again just to pass that kind of stuff, but it was difficult, man. Games back then were like, I would like, maybe it's me being nostalgic, but I feel like the games back then, like especially single player games, they were difficult, man. They were hella difficult. Currently, I feel like most single player games are like, if you just put like a little bit of effort, and if you throw like 25 hours at it, you're probably done. These games, I was playing like a single game for like a month, but like if you had a good like RPG, I was playing it for like months before I could finish it. Like, maybe I just didn't have that much time, or I was just an idiot and I didn't understand games. But I don't know. I had the biggest fun in like playing that kind of stuff. So yeah, and afterwards like PlayStation 2, and then I started with like online games. So I started with RuneScape, played a lot of RuneScape. Also their leaderboard. I think RuneScape is where my leaderboard addiction started. So I was like trying to get like the highest rank in like ranging and fletching and whatever. So I played that for quite a bit. Also PKing, was doing a lot of PKing. Actually, there's some really old YouTube videos of mine. I think those videos date back to like, I think 11 or 12 years already. And it's just old PKing videos, like hypercam unregistered or whatever you call it. And then you have like the old rock music like Linkin Park, Breaking Benjamin, Blink 182, Sum 41, all of the kind of stuff. I actually started listening to Sum 41 recently again, but all of that like old school rock, like 30 Seconds to Mars or 20 Seconds to Mars. I forgot all these numbers. One Blink 182, Sum 41. I don't know, man. All of that stuff was like hilarious, and everyone was like playing that kind of stuff. So that was always cool. So then from RuneScape, I switched into like the moment they started with the chat, or no, the trading restrictions. I felt like annoyed by the game. So I had like a lot of like expensive items, and they couldn't like trade them around anymore. And it was like super annoying. I think I had a party hat up until like, I think the most expensive party had back then was blue, and then white, and then red, I think. And I think I had the red one. I either had the red one or the purple one, and the purple one was before that. Can't remember which one I had, but I think I had the red one. But yeah, they did that with like a lot of. At some point, I started like staking and that kind of stuff. It's gambling at a 12-year-old age, kind of. So yeah, was legal gambling because it was in game. It was not officially gambling or something. I don't know. It was kind of gambling. So, and then I switched to MapleStory, which my brother was playing, and I played MapleStory. For the people that know MapleStory, I played MapleStory like really, really old school. When I started playing MapleStory, there was no third job. Like currently, if you go to MapleStory, there's like a fifth job and then a fifth job awakening, and then that kind of stuff. Like it goes like super far in. You have like I think like 30 classes or something. Back then, you had like the Explorer classes. They had their 2 to 3 split ups per. And that's it. That's it. So I was playing a bishop right there. Was supporting my brother playing a ice lightning mage. Both pretty boring classes actually, because they were not invited for like main DPS kind of stuff. Oh, priests kind of, but at some point they just knew it's like, you don't really need healers. You just need the support for like power leveling, and then for bosses you could just like pot yourself and that kind of stuff. So I played that for quite a while, up until up until like the first other class that came out at some point was the pirate class, and I was just like I wasn't training my my own account anymore. I was just like letting other people leech for money, so I was training like other people pretty much on my bishop, and with that I was collecting as much money to fund like my new account because I knew this new class was coming out. And then there's also one video on that one. There's also a really old video on that one. I was like the highest like pirate from the server at that time, and I think like the number 3 of the world at that time when it just came out for like the first 2-3 weeks. It was like the highest in that. And then at some point I quit that one as well. Then I started playing like an old game which I looked up recently, but the game doesn't even exist anymore. Like there's no, they had some private server for it working for a while, but even that one is closed. It was called Lunia. It was pretty fun. One of those games with like a rebirth system. So here I'm like 30 points behind Brantis, and I think I hit him like 6-7 times here already. So there's about like I think 20-ish minutes left, and I just keep bombing him, keep bombing him, keep bombing him, keep bombing him. It's just keep on going. It's like it's my way to win. I didn't know like who was the highest. I thought he was gonna be like the highest, or Chris was probably higher, but I didn't see Chris for a while. So yeah. So back to the story. So played Lunia for a while. Then I switched to Ion, which was one of those games that like they had it with like every new MMO that came out. It's like, this game is gonna kill World of Warcraft. This game is so good. It's like the new MMO is gonna kill World of Warcraft. I played it for a really long time. I actually played it on a Chinese beta server at first, and then the European version came out, and I knew everything of the game. Like I so I just started like I grinded out like first like few items really fast, and then I started PvPing, and I annihilated everyone. Like everyone that tried to trade, like you had the cool thing, like you had the 2 factions and you could like invade the other faction. And I was a ranger there. I mostly played ranger classes actually, and I just like I annihilated like everyone that was trying to have a good time on that game. I just killed everyone. So that was pretty fun. Played that for a pretty long time. Then I switched to. Then I think I switched like back and forth between like MapleStory and a few other like smaller games for a while. And then the next big game I played was Guild Wars 2, and also back in Ion, like always like high scores, MapleStory high scores, everything like getting the highest ranks and that kind of stuff. But then I started playing Guild Wars 2, and at first I played it like really casually and that kind of stuff. I wasn't into like PvP or anything, because I thought it was pretty difficult and pretty like non-rewarding and that kind of stuff. But you had to do like dailies, and your dailies you just get like the achievement points for. But at some point you also had dailies you had to do in PvP. So I just did my PvP dailies. I just went into a match and pretty much like AFK half of a match and that kind of stuff, because there were like rooms to AFK matches, and then you just get a win and that kind of stuff. So and at some point I started playing like more PvP and then more PvP, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. So I joined like a team. We played like a lot of matches. Oh, rank 2 here. So I think at this point only Brentis was like above me. So I was like, okay, if I just farm Brentis here, I can probably make an attempt on like rank 1. Because I saw Chris here being not that high in the rank. But here is also where I started like a little bit more strong, like, okay, who to hit. So yeah, Guild Wars 2. So at some point I joined like a team of like PvPing. So it was me with a couple of Russians, pretty much. So I was with like, yeah, 4 other Russians. Or no, 4 Russians, not 4 other Russians, because I'm not Russian. But yeah, 4 Russians. And that was pretty fun, but they were like, at some point you had like these tournaments and they never really wanted to do that. I'm like, yeah, let's go for tournaments. We can actually win. We're like super high in leaderboards and that kind of stuff. At some point, I think I had like the number. I also played like PvP on like a side account or like friend's account. And I think at some point the highest I had was like, my account was number 1 and then his account was like number 2 and then he had like another friend's account which was like number 5 on the leaderboard. Leaderboard there worked like really weird though. So and you had some really like cheese comps. Like if you just play that, you probably win all the time. So it was actually a 5v5 game, and I had like 70 or 80% win rate, which is like insanely high. Like you don't see that on League of Legends that much. So I was just playing like cheese comps and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was pretty fun. So actually, the first thing like for me for esports kind of stuff was doing that. So we played like ESL a couple of times. Um, got some like in-game rewards with that, like quite a few actually, quite a bit. Then we had like the first tournament, which they would make like to an offline tournament. And at first, like my teammates, of course, they were like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm good in my basement. I'm not going anywhere. It was like, guys, come on, just try it, just play. I think we have a good shot. So we actually ended up playing. We were toxic as hell, man. Like we were also called Toxic Community. That was our guild tag. So we were also like toxic as hell because we just put like 5 players that were really good in solo queue. Well, actually, we had 4 players that were really good in solo queue, and then we had one that was like more like it kind of related like who was playing with us. Oh, here's where I got rank 1. Yay, rank 1. So this is like, if I can sustain this, I can probably get rank 1. So back to the story. We were just like solo queue heroes, like all of us. We were just like insanely good in our own class solo queue, but we were also known to be like really toxic. Like if you know League of Legends and you know like the most toxic guy like before was probably Tyler 1. We pretty much were like the Tyler 1s of that game. We were like, the moment people were trolling and that kind of stuff, we were like just AFKing and that kind of shit. If people like went for retarded builds, we were AFKing and that kind of shit. We were toxic. We were literally like toxic AF. I mostly finished most of the games because I cared about my ranking more than the others, I guess. But these others, they were like, yeah, it was pretty toxic. But we were like good in like just the micro play and that kind of stuff. We were good, like also for like the anything like strategizing, we were pretty good. But in the end, we ended up losing to the other team that practiced more as a team, and they had to play in Gamescom. So at Gamescom they played, which was like the first big offline tournament for Guild Wars 2 at that time. So I was like pretty sad that we didn't make it there. And then there was another like, I think from there they also qualified to play in China. So they got like invited to play in China. It was like, wow, people actually like travel for like also smaller games. And at that time, like my brother was playing another game, like I think it was called Continent of the Ninth. And the big offline tournament, the first one there was, oh yeah, this is where I started messing up. But you see that here. But yeah, he had to fly to LA to play in LA for like a pretty relative new game, which was super cool. So then I was like, okay, so you actually can like travel with these kind of games. So yeah, this is where I messed up. Normally I double Lucian this, like, well, quad Lucian this. But I didn't have it ruined up. So I was like, I was being a legend here, and I was taking risks. So this is stupid. This is not what you're supposed to do. And well, the thing is, I was like, okay, I couldn't outspeed it with just the Theon, because the pony was actually faster than what the pony has to be, like 260-ish. Because my Theon triple fight is 255, I think. So I did this, and I'm not sure how many critters I missed here, but enough. Yeah, I missed 2 critters. If I had 2 critters on both Artemils, it would have been fine. But actually, these Artemils deal a lot of damage, especially on Lucian. So even here, I was like, oh, this is not going that well. So this is pretty doable with like a quad Lucian, but this is not that doable with like this. So I was like, okay, I just wasted my legend here. I just wasted my legend here. And then I kept playing because I was like, I'm wasting a lot of points. Actually, the second lose you get, you don't lose that many points. It's just 5. They do it like the anti boosting kind of thing, which is pretty chill if you just want to keep trying on one guy. But yeah, didn't really work out. Didn't really work out. And then full heal, there was like, at this point I was like, okay, everything is full HP. I might as well quit. So I think I quit around here, yeah. And then, do you lose legend on doing that stupid shit? So it's just -6. Still legend. I was like, okay, still legend. Okay, I saw Seiishizo there. He was really high up. So I was like, okay, gotta make some pace right now. Gotta make some pace. So yeah, back to bombing. Back to what's doing safe. 30 minutes left. 30 minutes on the clock. So yeah, Guild Wars 2. Yeah, those tournaments. In the end, I didn't play like any offline tournament with that. So the moment I started playing Summoners War and they had like SWC, the first SWC I wasn't qualified for. I also couldn't at that time because I just came to like my school in China, so that would have been like really difficult to go anywhere else. Also wasn't ranked high enough, but I think I could have. If I played more, I maybe could have, but my team was really bad back then. So yeah, from Guild Wars 2, that's the time I started traveling, so that's pretty much the stories of my last video. I started in Romania, and then I couldn't play Guild Wars 2 anymore, so afterwards, like in between, I legit was like at home for like 2 weeks, and then I went to China, and in China, like the internet is way worse. In Romania, I could play like a little bit. I did it from time to time, but didn't have that much, like I didn't have my normal setup for it. The internet wasn't that great, so I was like, whatever. I'll just play it again when I get back home. And then that actually never really happened because I had to move to the next one. In connecting to a European server for most games from China is terrible ping, so that's not really gonna work. So I had to find something else, and then I started playing like the Final Fantasy game on the phone, which I mentioned before, and that transitioned into Summoners War. So Summoners War ever since. Funny thing is, like first SWC, I pretty much just said like back then I was still like I just want a shirt with my name on it from any game that does any like offline event, and then get kicked out in the first round. Well, actually, I went to SWC 2018. I got kicked out in the first round, but I got my shirt. I did get my shirt, and then I was 2019, and I got kicked out in the first round, and then 2020 as well, kicked out in the first round. So I think that karma just yeah, I think saying that just catches the back up on me. For some reason, the moment we have like tournaments which are streamed, it just goes really bad for me. Like, I don't know, man. I have bad luck in one round, and then I mess up the second one, and then it's GG. I guess it's been mostly happening like that. I don't know. So, but in the last, yeah, 3 times that I did like offlines, or well, not really offline, but like streamed by Countess matches. No, actually, I also played the prelims. I think prelims, yeah, both 2019 and 2020, I came from losers bracket, but I played pretty clean in some of those. Like for example, I played like Rose 2-0, that was pretty clean. I played Baus 2-1, that was actually pretty. That was actually a messy one. That was pretty messy one. I could have won that 2-0. I picked the wrong lead, and I could have won 2-0. Yeah, as you can see, I barely got like any hits still, so people were not really like. That's the thing. At some point, for defense, for your arena defense, you just want to switch something because you just know like a few people that always hit you. If you just switch something, they're not gonna test it during arena rush. At least most people are not that keen on like testing new stuff or testing how to hit anything. So if you just get hit by the same person over and over, just switch something in your defense. As long as it's like annoying enough. This is the thing that a lot of people ask me is like, what's my best defense? Is just try something. Legit try something. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't work, switch. That's with defense all the time, because if I can clear it, or even if Chris can clear it, or anyone can clear it, doesn't mean that the majority of the people is gonna clear it. So And that's the thing, especially if you are like high up, like G3, G2, you have a few guys that always target you because they know that they can clear you in a few seconds. That kind of stuff. Oh, this is where I actually got like a lot of hits. There was like 3 hits, but also one was a success, so that was pretty nice. But yeah, at some point you just gotta switch. You just gotta try other stuff. So here I was looking for some more like fast hits, but still, if I found Brantis, I would have bombed him like for sure. Because at some point the best thing is actually like I knew that he wouldn't hit me back. I don't know for sure what he uses as an AO, but I know he doesn't really like to hit mine. The moment I can easily hit his, and he doesn't really want to hit mine, I can just keep farming it. I can legit just keep farming. And the thing is, he could start a revenge war with me, but he knows I hit him faster and more consistent than he hits me, so he's not gonna hit me. And maybe if you watch this, he's like, next time, oh, I'm gonna hit him for sure, and it's just gonna waste my rank 1 on it. Sure, he can do that, but still, I would. for me, it's easier to hit him than for him to hit me. So yeah, by that you just know that you can just continuously hit someone, and it just works out. It's just nice. It's just nice. This team is actually I know Elm Royal, and I know his units are really tanky. And before I was kind of scared to Lucian him, but since I got some Lucian upgrades, I was like, I can try it. So it actually works out, but I still need the damage of the Pisama there. So 84. Yeah, that's the funny thing. Wait, can we pause that? Can we pause that? So yeah, I got a few hits in here, but like Andre Pinto and Rain. But I got like 2 defense successes from a guy that was like hitting me before, but then suddenly his offense didn't work. But also Brenters, he hit me once and it didn't work, so defense success. I was like, hey, that's a free call for me. Like if you're failing on my defense, that's a free call for me that I can just hit you whenever I want. So this was one of the teams that was hitting like quite a few times, but this was actually one of the slower things I could hit because I could only like legit kill some. Like I could only legit kill one thing, which was mostly just the Mali. So that's because the double bomb from Mali, or no wait, the Gianna plus Dover bomb didn't kill the Mali. So it's like 48k damage, but or no 49k damage, but 49k damage was not enough. And then the Gelnir heals Molly for like 37k HP because that's nice. That's nice. So yeah, this team was always, it was a really easy clear, but it was pretty much slower than the other bombs that I did. I think with Aldiri, however, that you would do a lot more damage and this would like instantly die though. Yeah, I do think so. I'm pretty confident in that. But yeah, it's also a thing like it's better to go for something you know you can kill rather than just going for anything that's. It's like I might win this or might not win this and might get like a little bit wonky and that kind of stuff. Like no, you want to go for your secure kills. That's really important. Especially if you're that high up, because if you lose, I said it before, you lose double because you lose for not gaining points and you lose for losing points. Oh yeah, and also one thing to remember with Galnir, never do like Bastet S3 like after you did some damage already, because if I did Bastet S3 and I hit anything, they would be healed for like 37k again, which is wait, what? How did that look like? That was weird. How many points? Yeah, it says 91 points here. Wait, this says 91 points? And then you're here, I'm at 61? Wait, what happened? Not sure if I checked my history here. I just dropped like 30 points in one guy. In one go, like 30 points. There's also the thing, I see a lot of points, or I've seen a lot of teams, especially in like other servers, and they still use a lot of Pisama. I'm like, what? Any Pisama is food for Pisama Alicia. Any Pisama is food for Pisama Alicia. It's so easy. You just do half damage with that. You do half damage with that. You just clear up. It's so easy. I have no clue why other, like, unless you have like Trianas and that kind of stuff in there that you protect your Pisama with any like annoying thing. It is so easy to just clear them, and like people are like, oh, but you don't have armor break. Do I need armor break? Does this team looks like it needs armor break? Man, this is easy. Like, I had this discussion with another guy before, and he's like, yeah, but you don't have armor breaks. Like, oh, but my Pisama would survive. Yeah, Pisama doesn't survive shit. Your Pisama's hella dead. Yeah, but then you just kill one unit, and then Pisama comes back. He's like, I get an extra turn. He's dead again, and I probably take away like 2 other units as well. So, oh yeah, here he switched to Halfas, and this is where it started going like really wonky. So, I missed one bomb. I think I started missing a lot of bombs here. Because this team, oh yeah, I missed 2. I pretty much missed half of the bombs already. Because Halfas or not, Halfas is 60k damage. Oof. Halfas or not, it's just as easy for me. It really does. If that's a Halfas or a Molly, Molly's probably even more difficult, but it's same for me. It really barely matters. Issue is, if I miss a lot of bombs, then it gets annoying. Then it legit gets annoying. But actually, I've been landing most bombs for most of the rush, so can't complain too much. That's a really nice proc. Those are the procs we want to see, right? Also, I upped the artifacts of Sierra to do more damage with S1. So that helps out a little bit as well. Because Sierra in normal for me has, like in the non-RTA version, she has more bomb damage, like on her artifacts. But I changed it a little bit to do more damage from S1s. It helps out against these kind of things. So then it's just clearing the Hellfest, which can be annoying sometimes, but you have Gian S3, you have bombs, you just have to watch out that the Sierra S3 like initial hit doesn't bring him below 50%, and then you can just easily clear it. Also here he nearly gets a turn, so it doesn't matter too much. Also you can strip, Bastet shields, that kind of stuff. So I had like 2 minutes left on this after this hit. 2 minutes left. So it's like, oof, that took a lot more time than I expected. Yeah, I got quite some hits there, as you can see. Someone already inviting me for the free raids. I was like, okay, I'll just refresh. Normally I never do the normal refresh, or like the crystal refresh. I do the normal free refresh all the time, but I was like, okay, I just got a refresh and just hit one more. Just hit one more. So I think this is the one where it went really bad. This is the one where it went really bad. So we land 1 bomb. So wait, we pretty much land 2 out of 6 bombs. And everything is max Aki, by the way. Everything is max Aki. So I land 2 out of 6 bombs. I do get a proc here though. Okay, I land 2 out of 7 bombs. So okay, the moment this team doesn't work is if you land 2 out of 7 bombs. That's pretty much like and then it just went downhill from there. Like he started like getting more armor breaks in and that kind of stuff, and it just went slowly downhill and that kind of stuff. So that was just, yeah. So if I start off with like 2 out of 7 bombs, then this team fails. But it was end of the time anyways, so it was already 5. Like I was already out of time, so then you can just close the game and it doesn't count in the first. So then, what rank did we actually get? Skip, long loading screen. Okay, so rank 1, we got the Libli. Yay! Just taking some print screens here. So let's see how many points did I actually. Okay, league placement. Yeah, it's Guardian League. Woohoo! Guardian League, yay! So yeah, let's see. I was actually a lot of points ahead still. I was still like, that's what, 35 points? No, 34 points ahead, and from the number 2 is like close to 80, like 79. So that was pretty nice, pretty nice. So this is my 6th legend. I'll also check like what's next week. Next week is the Mirror. I think it's called like that. So yeah, getting a legend again, number 6. But this is actually the first legend which is not an HOH or a really stupid unit. So this is legit the first one that actually I feel like, okay, this one makes sense. Didn't get hit that many times, so that helps out a lot. And then I got to show, okay, there we go for the Liebly Awakening, good unit. But then you gotta give this one, right? You just have to, that's the one of the coolest transmogs in the game, I think. The Card Master. So Card Master Liebly. And then there's one more thing I want to show you. I have, I think, a really good artifact for Mr. Liebly. And that's this one. This artifact. Oof. Attack increasing effect by 15%. That's painful. And I can tell you already, on the 4th slot, there is bomb damage right now. So next week, check out that video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. Next week is gonna be Liebly instead of Dover. Let's see how hard we pump these bombs. Let's see how hard we pump these bombs. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this story time and that kind of stuff. So like the video if you haven't yet, and see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.